Welcome to Small Town Snarks. I'm Joel.
And I'm Miranda. Let's get snarky.
It was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn and lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve, cream and crimson and silver and rose and azure and lemon and russet and grape and purple and white and pink and orange and blue.
Woo!
Woo. I don't know why, I'm just feeling some colors today.
Yeah. I don't know the colors or the order of the colors, so I was no help, but I did a little dance.
You know colors.
There's a lot of colors.
There are a lot of colors.
I can't believe you know all of them.
I've known them my entire life. That's a lie. I've known them since the 6th grade.
I mean, that's most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how time works, yeah.
Not 20 years ago. Not that long. 17 years ago.
Don't do that to me.
All those many, many moons ago. But we're back, listeners.
We're back.
And that song is an homage to the show we are discussing today.
Yep. The gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on giving. Because what's good always comes back around.
Yep.
That was the biggest sigh, listeners. If you are listening and not watching this, you need to stop what you're doing and go watch the face that Miranda just made. Because it I can't words.
Try again. You got it.
It captures the feelings.
Yep. All the feelings.
So, where we left off in the wee early months of 2020, Godspell was put on indefinite pause.
Yes, it was.
We rehearsed in the early days of the pandemic. We discussed. We debated. We had conversations about moving the show. We wanted the show to be virtual. We wanted the show to be online. Nobody wanted to do the show. We wanted to cancel the show. We wanted to redo the show. We wanted to pick a new way to do the show. We had all these thoughts about the show.
Yep.
And finally, in December of 2021, Miranda and Joel presents a Tooth Doctor's production of Godspell.
Oh, what?
I don't Let me add a caveat in there. What I was trying to do was a funny thing, and it did not work.
It was more of a confusing
There's
thing.
this running joke that Miranda and I have had for a very long time about having sponsors for our shows. And then the running joke always goes, this is, this upcoming production that we're doing is, Sally Smith's Pie Shop presents.
Yep.
Sweeney Todd.
Right.
Yes. Or, Johnson's Dental Company presents Godspell.
Right.
Yes. So that's what I was trying to do. It didn't work. I'm running on very limited sleep. I have not had enough coffee today. But that was...
When's the last time you saw the tooth doctor?
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been to the tooth doctor. But in any...
Oh, lordy lord.
We're firing on all cylinders. Godspell Part 2.
Are we held together with tape right now?
Always.
What kind of tape?
Scotch tape.
Oh boy. I've got some gaff tape right now.
Bless.
But we'll see where I'm at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh. Alright, Godspell Part 2.
We're back, baby.
Electric Boogaloo. Here we go.
Whoop.
Yes.
We should put everyone on skates.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
So essentially, to pick us up, from where we left off. So, Godspell Part 2 was essentially us building on our concept from Godspell Part 1.
Correct.
Now, we didn't intentionally go in depth in our first section about Godspell, about kind of what the theme or the idea was behind the production.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I originally, when we discussed doing Godspell, we wanted to try and find a way to adapt the story and to give the story a little bit more depth to it by setting it during a different time, giving a little bit more of a concept behind it. We'll talk about where we went wrong with that concept to some extent. But what I can say is our thought process was trying to set Godspell around the time of September 11th. Which, to this day, I still think is a really compelling concept. The execution, I think there was a lot of moving pieces that we can unpack a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it was fully fleshed out in the way it needed to be. Now, we tried some different things that were really neat.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of part of our experimental phase, I will say. We were trying some different stuff. And part of, like, just growing as directors in a theater company in general is trying different things, and, like, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And I think this was kind of in between. Like, parts of it worked really well, parts of it didn't. Godspell is a tough show because it really, like, how do I say this? There's not a lot of plot. It's like retelling of stories, of Bible stories.
It's sharing stories from the Bible, but there is a plot, but it is, it's held together by biblical stories, as you would anticipate and expect.
Right. It's not very grounded in, like, a time period and these are who these people are type thing. So a lot of people will take the show and do different interpretations with it because it's pretty ambiguous. So you can do that. And I think we had some really interesting ideas with that. But I also think by the time we got to Godspell Part 2, we were kind of like, let's just get it done.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. And I don't think our creative energy was fully in it anymore because we had been through so much with it at that point.
It almost got to the point, I mean, we talked about this in our other episodes, but, like, Godspell was like that cloud that was just, like, following us around. And, like, having this conversation is, I wasn't feeling this 5 minutes ago when we were talking about walking into this episode, but every time we bring up Godspell and we talk about it a little bit more, it really does help with the, like, processing of that time period because there was so much associated with that show, the timing of that show, our concepts, what was going on for the company as a whole at that time.
Right.
I mean, like, we went from a dramatic shift. We had a very dramatic shift between the end of Godspell Part 1, the end being March of 2020, to where we were by December of 2021. I mean, the original concept for our production of Godspell was it was going to be in the round. And I mean, we took that and we ended up turning it into a proscenium set. And we used all of the same set pieces we were going to use from the original. It was such... I really like the point that you made that it was such a learning time for us. And I agree with that. I feel like because of that experience, I have felt more... I don't know if comfortable is the right word, but I felt more flexibility in my vision as a director to not only push performers to give the best performance that they can, but to also let the shows that I'm working on breathe and stand on their own a little bit more. Which, in hindsight, and now that I'm thinking about it, is probably a really good thing that we did that show when we did it and how we did it. Because I think both of us have made some really compelling theater since then. And it really was that learning opportunity of like, okay, this is... we needed to try things to know where we could go and what we could do. And
oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're thinking about implementing a unique vision that isn't outwardly scripted. Mm-hmm. You're doing a lot of, like, really interesting staging and trying different things from that perspective. And I think Godspell is part of why we were how we were able to be so effective directing, like, Rent together. Mm-hmm. You know, like, mm-hmm. some of that staging is stuff we learned from the Godspell process. Mm-hmm. So I definitely feel like from that perspective, for sure, I think we would have benefited from bringing someone in who was passionate about the show, who was a fresh set of eyes, to, like, help with the directing aspect of it, because at that point, like, we had been working on it for too long, mm-hmm. and that was a struggle. And I also remember, like, this, as a company, this was a learning opportunity, because this was the first time we were doing any sort of season, so, like, multiple shows mm-hmm. throughout the year. And we did 3 shows from summer to December. Mm-hmm. And, you know, now with the crazy amount we do, that mm-hmm. doesn't seem like a lot. But at the time, you know, going from 1 to 3 is a big jump. So I remember with Godspell and putting it in December, I was like, oh, it's going to be fine, because we're going to have, like, most people are going to come back and they're already going to know everything, mm-hmm. and we're just going to have to modify it. And the new people, like, they can just be filled in, and we have videos in the archive of, like, all the choreo and all the blocking, so, like, this is going to be easy. We're just going to rehearse once a week. And then we're going to put the show up, because the set was done, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we had all the props. Like, we had everything. Yeah. And what ended up happening, I think we had 3 people from the original cast.
I was counting 2, but it might have been 3. Like, it was...
I think it was 3. Uh-huh. But one of them switched roles. They ended up being a different role.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So... less than half the cast mm-hmm. knew the original staging and blocking. And
we only had, correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't start rehearsals for Godspell until Little Shop had closed. Like, we only gave ourselves, like, 3 to 4 weeks.
We had about a month and a half, because we performed, like, December. I'm trying to think, did we perform after the other company did Christmas Carol, or was it? It was before.
Yes, I think it was.
No,
it was after.
It was after.
We'll get there.
So it was later December. So
yes, it was the weekend before, like, the Christmas holiday. Yeah.
So just shy of 2 months. Mm-hmm. And we recast the roles that we needed to. Mm-hmm. Send everyone the videos out. And part of the sell for casting the show is like, hey, we have all this material, we're not going to rehearse that often, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember, like, as we started getting into rehearsals, people were like, we need more rehearsals. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you're right, we do. And I had to, like, add more. But honestly, it was difficult because, like, I wasn't prepared to rehearse Godspell that much. I thought it was going to be easy mm-hmm. to put that show up again. Yeah, but it was almost like starting over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that rehearsal process, like, vaguely, and I remember now that you shared that about adding an extra rehearsals, I remember that being a conversation between you and I of, like, okay, this is where we stand. This is what we need to do. And we just got to make it happen. And that was kind of like the motto was, we got to do what we got to do to make it happen. I have a big memory from this rehearsal process. I don't know if you want me to go ahead and just jump into that, or if you had other thoughts you wanted to share about rehearsals before I got there.
You can go to that, and then I can bring us back when you do.
Yeah, so December of 2021 was a really interesting time. And honestly, it was more like November when this situation would have happened. Essentially, in the world at the time, the COVID pandemic had was no longer at its peak. People have been vaccinated for several months now. I mean, most people were vaccinated between like January and May of 2021. But in November and December, we were starting to hear more about, I believe it was Omicron, or one of the variants that was coming out that was rapidly spreading again and increasing cases. And there was a weekend of rehearsals where you were out of town.
Yeah, I was trying to remember where I was, and I can't
remember where you were at, because it's super funny to think about now. You were in Universal. You were in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, for the meetup.
Orlando meetup.
Okay.
Yeah. And essentially what happened was I was running rehearsal, and we were in our venue. Inside the venue, Miranda just mentioned there was a production of A Christmas Carol going on. And we, the nice thing about that space was that we were usually always separated. Like, there was enough rooms in that space where we weren't really engaging with any other groups. However, in the bathrooms, you'd probably run into somebody, or like in the hallways.
We were rehearsing in the cafeteria, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So one of our cast members, actually, I think it might have been more than one. I know of at least one of them, was in the production of A Christmas Carol, and in our production of Godspell. And I believe Christmas Carol was in tech at this point.
Yes.
And they had finished their rehearsal, but we still had like another hour or so left. And our cast member that was in A Christmas Carol came out of A Christmas Carol rehearsal and said, guys, there's some people in the Christmas Carol cast that have COVID. And it was still at the point then where people were very, like, we had vaccines, the efficacy of them and all of that good stuff was,
it was all new.
People were still getting it, but they weren't getting it as bad, but it was still problematic. Omicron was on the horizon. Like, COVID was still a thing. It was very, like you said, it was very fresh and very new.
Right.
And I remember this cast member coming in and telling everybody that someone in the building, or actually I think it was multiple people in the building, had COVID. And I don't want to use the word panic, but like the confusion and the questions and like the frantic energy of everybody hearing that started bubbling up.
Yep.
Very, very quickly. And I almost want to say that this was near Thanksgiving time, because I remember people also being very paranoid because
they were going to see grandparents.
They were going to see grandparents. They were going to see family members, and this again would have been the first Thanksgiving post.
It created
COVID
a spiral.
Yeah, where there was just a lot going on. So I remember everybody having this moment, and I said, okay, I need to get everybody under control, but I didn't even, we had no protocol for this. I mean, we knew that, if someone we had plans if someone were to get COVID in the cast, but this, situation where, COVID was in the building.
Right.
We didn't have a plan, we had never discussed a strategy for. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I need to have a conversation with Miranda. I'm like, this seems like a critical enough thing to figure out, an operating procedure for the company.
And it was also one of those things where you were, in that situation, you were very much put on the spot because it wasn't like this cast member pulled you aside and was like, hey, this is a thing, blah, blah, blah. And then you could process the information and decide how to communicate it to the cast. It was just they kind of just threw up the information to everyone at the same time. So you're processing it in real time with the cast. And then everyone's looking at you for answers. What do we do? And then people start having opinions about what should be done.
Yeah.
It's a tough situation. And that's one of the tough things about just being in a leadership role is that exact scenario where you're completely put on the spot, something you're not expecting.
Well, and in such a time where there was no, the world didn't have a structure for how to resolve those types of things.
Right.
Everybody was making it up as they went along.
Absolutely. Different people had different policies. It was all over the place.
Yeah, so I remember calling you, and I think you were at, like, physically in, like, Universal, like, at one of the, like, at
probably.
The event. And I was like, I'm so sorry for calling you, but this has just happened.
Yeah.
What do we do? And you gave me, as you usually do, the sagest of advice you could, being several hundreds of miles away.
Right.
You were like, look, you all are already in the building, and you've already been rehearsing. Finish our rehearsal. You know, let everybody know. You know, we'll plan to mask moving forward for the foreseeable future with the holidays coming up. And if people are, you know, end up showing signs, get tested, and we'll address it as it happens. But at this point, there's nothing, like, you're already in the building and you've been together for 2 hours up to this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thinking about it now, and it's maybe a little bit emotional, and I don't know why. I'm just having one of those moments, but
just having big feelings.
One thing that I really, really appreciate, and this is something in our working relationship, is that we're very good at supporting each other where we're at with things. And in that moment, that's just a perfect example of, like, I had no idea what to do. And you were like, I'm 900 miles away, but here's exactly what you're going to do. And it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And things are going to keep happening because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm, like, feeling all the emotions about that, but, like, it just was, like, one of those moments where I was like, okay, great, we've got this. It's chaotic out there. The world is chaotic, but we got it. We got it.
I think there's just so much power in having a plan.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And we have this really good give and take of, like, if you're in a spiral, usually I can ground you and vice versa. Oh, yeah. And, like, this just happened recently. I was totally spiraling about falsettos. I felt like I was really behind. I felt like, just in general, I was very behind. Because, like, the costumes aren't done, the props aren't done, the sets. We didn't have, like, any of the set together yet. Mm-hmm. And I remember there were a few days there where we were talking regularly, and I was like, I'm stressed. I'm just stressed. And I remember you having this conversation with me, and it was perfect in the way that you were like, you said, okay, what's at the top of the list? Like, what needs to be done immediately? And one of my concerns was the garage was messy, and I need to be able to pull costumes, and we need to get the set done. And I remember you saying, well, okay, is there a path to the costumes? Can we get to the costumes? And I was like, yeah, there is. And you were like, okay, then we can figure that out on this day. And, like, just that type of energy is exactly what I needed in that moment. And I'm glad that I've been able to give that to you as well absolutely. Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a chaotic time in general, and then just being in that situation, I'm like, I don't have a clue as to what to tell you all. Like, at all. But we're going to figure it out, and that's what we did. And knock on wood, fortunately, I mean, I don't anticipate, I'm not going to say that, I don't anticipate COVID being...
No, just don't even stop right there. Stop right
concern. There. But, it was just like, you know, fortunately, that whole situation worked out just fine, and we didn't end up with anyone having COVID, and we were able to do the show as planned.
And we had talked about this before in regards to COVID, but it's so tough. People are looking to you to keep them safe, honestly. And there was no guidance, you know, and you're juggling a lot of things. You're juggling, like, what are reasonable accommodations, you know, how do we make sure the show happens, like, because obviously the safest thing to do is just not do anything. But no, like, they're all there because they want to do it. So absolutely. Trying to find that happy balance is really hard.
Yeah. We made it through that situation, and then we got to continue on with our rehearsals. Do you have anything else from the rehearsal experience from that show?
Yeah, I have a couple of things.
Okay.
Listeners, if you've worked with us before, you probably know Daryl, who also does the sound for our podcast. He is like sitting at a table to my left.
If you say hi loud enough, Daryl, you might pick yourself up.
Hey guys.
Hopefully you heard that. He just said hi. But one of my memories is he was trying a new diet at the time.
Uh-huh.
He was trying a keto diet, so no carbs. And the choreo on the show was actually really intense. Mm-hmm. Like, there were a lot of very intense moments. And he was, like, wasting away to nothing. Like, he had no energy left to give. And I was like, sir, you need to go eat a baguette or something because you're gonna pass out on me if you keep avoiding carbs.
Yeah.
And I also remember there was one part in, I want to say it was Bless the Lord, where we did like a circle, but it was like a kick line circle.
Oh yeah.
And I remember Abby telling me that she hadn't been sore after a dance in a long time. And that was, like, the first time that she'd experienced that in a while. And I was very proud of that. I was like, wow, I actually made you sore. That's crazy. So, yeah, I do remember those things. I remember having our platforms in the cafeteria, practicing with them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I will say, and I don't remember us, I'm just thinking about it, when we talked about Godspell Part 1, I don't remember us getting into depth into some of the choreography from the show, but I know we had made a concerted effort, considering we had such a short period of time, to modify.
Right.
Godspell Part 1 was, one thing I really like about early theater company Miranda was that her choreography style was very trick heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
people still talk about it. They're like, STS does all the tricks, and I'm like, we really don't anymore.
There was a time where Miranda was the queen of choreographing tricks. I mean, in Godspell Part 1 was like the pinnacle of that experience. One thing that I don't remember us talking about, but I'm going to put in now, and then we'll talk about how it wasn't part of Godspell Part 2. Do you remember the knee walk?
Yes.
Okay. Did we talk about that in Godspell Part 1? I don't remember.
I don't remember talking about it. But I do remember experiencing it.
Yes, there was a piece of choreography where one cast member was to walk from platform to platform, walking across people's legs.
Yeah, their like
legs.
thighs, yeah.
And that, when that was going on, I was like, okay, Miranda has a really unique vision here. But, oh my gosh, look at these people's legs buckle.
It was really cool when it worked.
Every 11th time that we were in it, it looked great.
I also remember, because Dakota was in Godspell Part 1, and his song was We Beseech Thee, and we were, like, running around from platform to platform. That was, like, the choreo, and Jacob was at rehearsal, and I was trying to figure out, like, a trick to do. And he was like, what if you just picked him up upside down? And I was like, cool, I love it. And he was like, wait, that was a joke. And that's what we did. I also remember during COVID, we had to get all the Godspell stuff out of the building.
Uh-huh.
So Dakota and I went and did that because we were already, like, in the same bubble or whatever. Yeah. There's a picture of it somewhere. But at that point in time, like, you could just tell COVID had taken its toll on us. Like, Dakota looked so thin. It was crazy. But yeah, we had to, like, pull up with a U-Haul and get everything out because they needed to use the building for something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crazy.
It was crazy
times.
But yeah, I mean, with that choreography stuff, we definitely scaled things back for Godspell Part 2 to really, make sure we got what we needed, got enough of it.
Yeah. I found some sanity.
But yeah. Oh my god.
I was trying to think. Oh, I don't think there were any tricks and puffs, but there was one, but I don't... And there were some lifts in Little Shop, too, so...
We've tried new things with choreography. Your choreography style has changed and has grown.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's more effective now, I would argue. Yeah. It's more accessible to the average person. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, and something I love about it too is like, you can see our other choreographers, like, who are all excellent, you know, going in and choreographing, and you can, like, see my influence on it, too, because there are certain moments where there's, like, a random trick or something, and you can tell that it's been influenced by me, and it's just a lot of fun to see their interpretation, and, like, I do think it's something fun that we do. I mean, we have 3 lifts and falsettos, so...
Very smartly done lifts, like, really appropriate lifts for the show.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And one of them is a pretty cool one that, well, 2 of them we've never done before, but the one that's just 2 people is pretty impressive, actually.
Man, could you believe that 7-person handstand? It really went well on the Friday night performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the moment where the full cast does, they all do backflips over a pond of sharks, that was wild. If you missed falsettos, you missed an experience.
You missed it. Oh my gosh.
Do you remember when you ran across the stage naked? That was so crazy.
So weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
And then it got a standing ovation, which I was kind of like, okay, what's going on here?
Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert, listeners. None of that happened. But if you missed out on falsettos, you really missed out.
If there was a listener who thought I had to cast do backflips over a pond of sharks, comment, because I want to talk to you.
They were there in the audience for Godspell Part 2. They know we're willing to try anything.
Okay. Yeah, they were like, this lady, she does some crazy stuff.
I mean, but like, where would you even get sharks? I mean...
The ocean. Where else do you get sharks?
Oh my gosh. Do you want to talk about performances for a moment? I really don't remember much from Godspell other than ticket sales were ticket sales.
Yeah, I mean, they were great. It was weird because we had, like, 50 plus people come to the door for opening night, and that was so random.
Yeah. But they were definitely light.
One of the fun things about the performances was we had a strip of like LEDs around the middle platform.
Yeah.
And I never put this together, but I was out in the lobby, and I heard someone go, "Oh, the Alexa's on. They must be starting soon." And I didn't realize it, but it looked like a big Alexa. Because it was like a blue light around the circle platform. And I thought that was amazing.
The Alexa's on.
The Alexa's on.
That's what we should have. Godspell told through Alexas.
But I do remember the, our good friend Karen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her husband and her friends were there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the performances. And it was during Turn Back, Oh Man.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I'm yawning. I need to wake up. It was during Turn Back, Oh Man, which is the second number in Act 2, I believe, because we started with Beautiful City.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in the back. So, like, the way the auditorium is set up, there's, like, a ton of seats in, like, the flat area, and then there's, like, stairs, so there's, like, tiered seating in the back, because it's a school.
Yeah.
They were back there, and I remember they had their flashlights on their phones, and they were, like, walking behind, like, down all the stairs behind us, around the theater, whatever, during this number, and I was like, I'm so distracted right now, and Jacob literally missed a light cue, because he was like, what is going on over there?
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, it was really, you can see the progression of things getting worse, and it was a frustrating moment, but it was kind of just like, whatever, but we'll get more into that.
Yeah, things will start getting up here soon, don't worry, listeners.
Yeah, absolutely, but it was nice to finally be able to close the book on Godspell. We had played around with some projections, we played around with some fun lighting things, some fun choreo. You know, like we alluded to, some of it worked, some of it didn't, and I'm okay with that, honestly, because I do feel like we were trying a lot of unique things that helped us grow as creators.
A slight tangent, coming back to what you're saying now, of like, I saw a show recently, and someone I was with referred to the show as, like, sitting through a fever dream. And I almost think about our production of Godspell as almost being like a fever dream. Like, there was so much that was so, like, great about it from a technology standpoint. We had some wonderful performances.
Yeah.
But also, like, the circumstances and, like, you know, there were elements and things that we would do differently, obviously, if we had the opportunity to do them again. I don't, because I'm not there.
You're not touching that show.
Yeah.
No.
But, I almost feel like that's the best way to describe it. It was like a fever dream of, like, we know these stories, they're so familiar, but they're being told in a way that no one was expecting. And that was what was, in a way, great. Like you said, I think it was a great opportunity and learning opportunity for us. But I also think we had reached our maximum quota on making decisions and really, you know, just finding a way to tell that story and to give it its time and energy, because we had spent so much time on it.
Yeah.
But not giving it more than that. And
it's
hard to say that about a show, especially because I know we both were very passionate about what we do.
Yes,
and we're passionate about the arts, and we're passionate about theater. But when you go along for so long with the same material, like, I almost feel like this is what it must be for people who, like, perform a show 8 times a week for a year. Like, keeping things fresh and keeping that energy and that drive of wanting to give a wonderful performance for that long has to be challenging. You have to be able to think of what's going to give you that energy. And, like, you know, by the time we finally wrapped up Godspell Part 2, I mean, we had been working, and Godspell had been in our minds for over 2 years at that point.
Yeah. I want to miss a show. I want to be sad that a show is ending. I think, and honestly, I give us grace in this regard, because yes, we do take a lot of pride and a lot of care with what we do, and we're very intentional about it. But also, you know, at the end of the day, we're people, and, like, even if you look at your favorite artists, your favorite musicians, you have some songs that you like better than others. Right. Or there's that one song that you're like, that wasn't their best work.
Right.
That's part of being in a creative space. You're not always going to get it right. And this was one of those shows where, like, yes, if I went back in time, I would make changes. But I'm satisfied with the chapter that it is in our story.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It was a wild chapter.
It was.
You know.
It was.
I agree with you. When a show's over with and you felt so good about it, it hits differently than when a show is over and you just can't wait for it to be over. And I think Godspell is a really great example of that second version of like, we did all we can.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people really, really feel passionate about that show. I feel so incredibly indifferent about it. Like, Daryl's booing me. But yeah, like you said, I feel good with where we left off with that story. And maybe somewhere 40, 50, 60.
I need at least 60
when I'm 89,
years.
90,
yeah.
somewhere around that, I'll be ready.
That'll actually be a really interesting production if we're
90 years old, right?
In our 90s, revisiting Godspell. I love it. Let's plan it right now. I'll see you then.
For the 60th season of Small Town Stars Theater Company.
I do have a quick tech week story that I just find interesting.
Oh.
This is where the tea is. The one of our performers just like wouldn't sing their song. They just wouldn't sing it. Mm-hmm. And I remember having a conversation with them, and I was like, if you don't sing this song on Wednesday of Tech, remember we open Friday, Wednesday of Tech, I'm going to have to change it. Uh-huh. And they didn't respond or anything. Mm-hmm. But then on Wednesday they sang it. But it was just a strange issue to deal with because that's not normally a thing.
No. Most people, when they're in a musical and have a song to sing, tend to sing it.
Yeah. They just wouldn't.
Fascinating. I forgot about that. I do remember that now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the weirdest conversation we've had during Tech Week before.
No. We've had some doozies. Yeah. But yeah, that one was...
Where did you park the U-Haul? And on that note, listeners...
What U-Haul?
And with that, listeners, we're putting Godspell into a box.
Yeah.
Highest of high shelves.
It's on the top shelf. We're not gonna go back to it, probably. Mm-hmm. But... It happened.
It did happen.
It happened. It's a part of us, and it was a time.
Yeah, Miranda, 2022 is on the horizon. We've got some big stuff coming up in 2022. We've got a review. We've got Odd Couple.
Yep.
We've got Mamma Mia.
Yep.
Bright Star.
Yep.
Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Rent.
Mm-hmm.
2022 was a good year.
And Legally Blonde Jr.
Oh, I forgot about Legally Blonde Jr.
Our first production intensive.
Yeah, we've got some big stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, and a lot of new people.
Yeah, a lot of guests are going to be coming on the podcast. If you were a part of any of those shows, and you're an avid listener, and you want to be a part of an upcoming episode, send us a message.
2022, I think, was maybe the biggest year for us as a company. If you're looking at when we took off, I would say we really took off that year.
Yeah, we had a lot of great stuff that year.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
All right.
See you next time, listeners.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for getting snarky with us. We'll see you later.
See you next time.